Welcome back to Kingdom of Yah. This is the Living Word Bible. Just get it set up here. We've got everything on. Alright, we got a few windows we got going here. So, going back into James, I believe. Trying to get this done, but haven't even finished chapter 2 here, so try to run through this a little bit. Hey bud, what's up? You wake up? Alright. Let's see. I'm on 19. So, my beloved brothers, understand this. Let every person be quick to hear, should be quick to listen. Yeah, here I think works better with this, as opposed to speak, slow to speak, and slow to anger. That's the key word here, which is my tie to the Testament of Gad, this whole part about the spirit of hatred. Something that is just too prevalent right now, as I'm sure it always has, and I don't know if I should have this reference up further, because it also references, what was it? It also references, was it further, after, before, where is it? Oh yeah, word of truth. I'm gonna get rid of this message thing. I think that's redundant, I guess, but word of truth. I feel like that should be highlighted, so I'll highlight that. Because Testament of Gad says the same thing about this words of truth. It's plural, but you know, same deal. Curious to see how much that's repeated. It is mentioned a lot of times. Wow. Okay. Words of is mentioned a lot as well. Spell it right. Okay, that's mentioned once. How about word of truth? Okay. How about truth? How about truth? Truth of Yahweh. That's interesting as well. Truth of Yahweh. Do therefore this old English stuff drives me crazy. Older English, I know it's not old English. Middle English. Therefore, okay, same deal. Therefore, my children, know that I am not married. Therefore, again, do truth. Do the truth. Each one. I'm gonna say each one of you. Try to fix this grammar a little bit. Each one of you do truth to his neighbor. There you go. And that's an interesting way of putting that, so definitely gonna capitalize that. And let's just highlight it too. Why not? And to usually do this as well, the heavens, because it's shining as plural. That happens. I think we're gonna step on something interesting here. This is Benjamin. Why does it say the earth? That's supposed to be exiled. What is all this? The sword is the mother of 7 evils. First, the mind conceives through Satan. There is bloodshed. Well, I should put there is. Make this a list. Better list. First, bloodshed, then ruin, tribulation, exiled. Exile? What would be a good move for that? Earth, don't know what that is. Panic. Destruction. Interesting. All this is just too good. I don't know what's even anything. Reference I need to find. Fix that. I know I'm supposed to be in James here, but I get caught up on things that I'd like to update here. Most High will send forth his salvation, his Yeshua, right? In the visitation of an only begotten prophet. Only begotten implies son. That's interesting. Yeah, they definitely knew the Messiah was coming. I mean, the Testament 12 Patriarchs talks about this constantly. Discord going as well. Okay. Make sure I catch someone coming in here. Get a preview window going so I can see what's going on here. Alright. I just realized I probably changed my audio input here, don't I? Probably got a lot of noise in the background. There we go. How's that? Same on all of these. All right. Yeah, last video was noisy and echoey. With my speakers running from people coming in on Discord. All right. that out on Discord again. Just where was I? Okay. Just gonna put do it for now. Yeah. Mhm. Enter into the first temple. Does it say that? There will you will be treated with, or the Lord. It does say the Lord, but it's coming from Greek and things. That may be improper there if this is talking about Jesus here. Will be treated with outrage and he will be lifted upon a tree. Okay, well then yes. Okay, then I'm gonna put Lord, uh, and we'll put a few of these just to keep it upon the tree, and we'll put cross. Don't need the capital there. The veil of the temple will be ripped. Oh man, I'm gonna need some references here. Cross references. There's gonna be too many. Rent. What? It just say split in half, but again, I try not to change too much of the wording here, unless I'm really certain on the meaning. Split in half, but just for those who don't know what rent means. And the Spirit of God will pass on to the Gentiles as fire toward forth. He will ascend from Hades and will pass from earth into. Okay, so dies go down into Sheol, back up to earth, and then back into the heavens. I only know. Wait, sorry. I know how lowly he will be upon earth, and how glorious in heaven. Lowly, humble, at a low position, but yet glorified. Um, Basically, humble looking. I think it means here humble looking, and then the opposite of right glorified. Um, Glorified, glorious is just spruced up, right? So you have all your beautiful garments and priestly attire or what have you on. Man, this is just straight up gospels right here. No wonder they hated Testament of the 12 Patriarchs, let alone Enoch and Jubilees. But man, this is more straightforward than even Enoch, and Enoch talks about some things as well. I don't know if I can pull up a chat from YouTube here. Don't know how to do that. Now I can. Using OBS deal here. That's all right. Meyer. What is Meyer? I think I've read through Benjamin yet, but getting distracted. Truth. Let's see if it's used from the truth. Okay. All these, the spirit of sleep is joined. Fantasy, so perishes every young man, darkening his mind from the truth and not understanding the law. So yeah, that's redundant. So we'll do that. One and the same thing. Nor obeying the admonitions of the Father as befell me in my youth. Now, my children, love the truth, love the law. All right. This is using it more than I've seen the prophets use it this way. Just about. The words of Reuben, your father, pay no heed. Pay no attention. To the face of a woman, nor associate with another man's wife, nor meddle with the affairs of womankind. For I had not seen, for had I not, for if I had not, if, yeah, if I had seen Bilhah bathing in a covered place, I have not. I would fallen into this great iniquity. For my mind, taking in thought of the woman's nakedness, suffered me not to sleep until I had woke the abominable thing. Woke the abominable. I can say that. Hello again.
Hey, I I had the weirdest thing happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm singing karaoke on my TV. I'm just playing,
Mm-hmm.
having a good time. And my phone made a noise, and I looked down, and it was your deal, and it said, "Sounds good." And I went, "Oh my gosh, tell me nobody can hear me."
That would have freaked me out for sure.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh no, don't tell me I'm on voice."
Right.
'Cause I'm
That's too
like
funny.
singing Blues Traveler, right?
Oh, really? Oh, I
Not
love
like I'm singing a
it.
Not like I'm singing a spiritual song. I'm singing Hook on Blues Traveler.
There you go.
But I was like, "Oh, no." Did I hit the voice thing?
Yeah, Tammy said she would
Then I
be
looked,
in
I
here
was
in a
like,
minute.
"No way.
Yeah.
No way I'm in anything."
How funny.
And I knew it didn't sound good, so uh, yeah. Ah. Man, I've had a long day. I'm trying to wind down so I can get some rest at some point. But
Right, I hear
singing at the top of my lungs usually helps. I don't know if my neighbor, when I listen to Blues Traveler, so do my neighbors, you know,
you.
whether they like it or not. Man, I know people, like I just I know it's terrible, but like worship music,
Mhm.
I can't stand it. I just think
Yeah,
to me, our music ought to be better than secular music,
right,
not what it is.
right. Yeah, a
I
lot of
just
time it's very
I
surface level and doesn't really.
yeah.
Yeah,
I was a musician growing up, I don't play anymore, but I mean I play a lot of instruments. I have a lot of instruments and I play with them, but I
right,
don't really play like I used to. And music hurts me when it's bad.
right. No,
It's
I
that
hear you.
joyful noise thing, right? It's supposed to be a
Yep.
joyful noise, not just noise. Can we I don't know. I just I just have a feeling heaven's gonna have some good music. I mean, come on.
Right.
It's gonna be fabulous. It's not gonna be Amy Grant, It's just not.
Yeah.
It,
Who was it? Someone was kind of jokingly saying, or I don't know, half jokingly saying, but because the word where we get guitar from is from the word harp, right? Guitarra. For the word harp
from what?
from
From harp?
yeah, which is kitara, right? So it sounds
Oh,
like
okay. Yeah,
guitar,
yeah, I've
right?
actually heard that word. Yeah,
Which
guitar.
guitar
Yeah.
is a harp. It's just got frets on it, right? It's like he was joking
Right.
about angels playing guitars or what have you. I thought it was just kind of funny,
Oh, yeah.
but
You know, I think David invented musical instruments, you know.
right,
And it says anybody that came from it was one of Cain's descendants. Who was it? Jubal or Jabal or something? But it said everybody that came from him were musicians.
right,
And I don't know if any of those people crossed the flood unless it was one of the wives of Noah's sons. But musicians came from somebody.
right.
But
Yeah, it makes you wonder
I
if
don't know.
anyone was ever. I never really thought about this until you said that, but if anyone, because we have prophets that were handed down information, and apparently in some cases even handed tablets to look at or copy. So, did any of them ever get
Yeah.
music or was taught music? It
Oh
kind of
yeah. Oh yeah. The
makes me
Torah,
wonder.
the Hebrew letters. Every letter is a musical note.
Right, I
That's
was
why the
saying that.
cantors can get up and sing the Torah.
Hmm.
In synagogue, the cantors they're singing the notes. You know, of the Torah, the music. Yeah, it's all music because, music is math.
Right,
People don't realize, half notes, quarter notes, whole note, it's math. And Yahweh's very mathematic. I just got the feeling he's written some great music. I can't wait because I miss music. When you get saved and you kind of get away from secular music, which I did because I loved music and I would go to concerts. I mean, can't even tell you how many concerts I went to. I mean, I saw not all the big names. There were a few I couldn't get as far as they were. They didn't come near me. But oh man, I just really miss good music.
right.
And like I really like what's his name? Oh, doggone it. He sings he wrote that song Come House of Jacob, let us walk in the light. That song. Do you know that song?
Not sure.
Um, I don't want to sing it. I'm not a singer. Um, but it's Ted something. But he got saved. His testimonies were cool. He was trying to disprove the Bible to a friend of his who had got saved, and he ended up getting saved.
Hmm.
And he writes awesome music. I mean, I like his music. It's very biblical. It's all straight out of the Bible. That's why I
Right.
like it. But it's really the music's pleasant to listen to too. I've got to look him up right quick and see if I can.
Yeah,
Ted, Ted,
couldn't find it.
Ted something. I'll just put in the song and his name will come out. Let me see. Hang on. 'Ted Pierce. Ted Pierce. He does really awesome Messianic music. I may have to go listen to some of his music. Because I feel a little guilty because I really did like worship all that stuff. I was way off into all that, bands, and I knew all their names and their kids' names and all that stuff. It was crazy. And when I got saved, I had to walk away from that because it was too much. I did it, it was like I was probably a fanatic. Okay, they call them fans. I was a fanatic, but I never liked the Christian music. I had to just get away from music because I'm not kidding. There was a station in Dallas called KLTY, and they played Christian music. And I went to Dallas not long ago, and I got that station, and they're playing the same music that they did, you know, 30 years ago. I'm not kidding. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. There's no new music. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was tough.
Yeah, a lot of what I've heard, recently, not that I've really gone out and tried to find it, but it just still seems about the same kind of tone, I guess you can say, as it did 20 years
Yeah.
ago. And I don't know.
Yeah.
And so
Man, something's got to happen with that. Maybe I'll pray about that because it would be nice to listen to something enjoyable, that was in our vein, at least, of what we do. I just I can't function with Christian music. I can't. Yeah. And I want, and I go something's got to happen, and they play that kind of music. Now, there's some good songs like Days of Elijah. That's a great song. Um, there's a few that have come out, and there's that other guy that he puts on great big shows. I can't think of his name. He's got some good music. I mean, it's okay. I feel kind of guilty for jamming out to Bob Seger and and Blues Traveler, but it's like
Yeah.
I need music.
Yeah.
It's beautiful music.
Right.
Yeah,
it kind of brings
like
peace to your soul and light or lifts you up,
yeah.
and, I mean, I kind of
Kansas
relate
has
to it a lot
some
more.
biblical. Yeah, Kansas has some biblical music. Dust in the Wind and Carry On My Wayward Son. I mean, those are biblical. Those guys were Christian. 2 or 3 of them were Christian, and they wrote biblical songs.
Right.
And that's what it ought to be like. That's what our music should be like. To me. So I don't know. I just felt like music, and it was like I just can't do the. Yeah, you should listen if you haven't heard Ted Pierce. He does do some good music. My favorite is
Yeah, I'll
Walk
check
in the
it out.
Light. It's really good. Yeah, it's good. You'll like it. Well, I say my ex-husband used to say, "I like it, and so do you." that's what I said. You'll like it. Hopefully you'll like it. I'm gonna get up here and do something. I got to wind down somehow. I got to figure out how to take a breath, and I try. I concentrate on the scripture a lot, and sometimes I just need a break. Like my brains, just need a timeout.
Yeah. That's kind of the point I'm reaching right now.
Yeah, I do. I just need to take a breath, and I really want to. I'm going back and forth. Okay, you were the one I was talking to about sending you some of my charts and stuff. I think I
Right.
sent my Mishmar to you, and I was thinking really hard about sending the Otote
Right.
chart, and it's hard. It's hard for me to let go of it
No worries.
because
Take your
it's
time
like
on
my
it.
baby. It's my
Yeah.
baby.
No,
I
I
sent you
hear
the
you.
timeline, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I sent you the timeline. Did I send you the Mishmar? scroll or just the
Um,
timeline?
I believe so. Yeah, I think Sterling had got that and sent it to me.
Yeah, and so um, I sent it. I sent my notes to um, Christina.
Right.
I can't ever remember her screen name.
Yeah.
Oh,
Lenome Diplôme. Yeah.
yes. What does that mean? I know it means something in French, and I can't remember. My sister said it to me the other day, and I went, "Oh my gosh!"
It's
And I,
a signature or before I say the wrong thing, a pseudonym
yeah.
or pen name. Yeah, it means pen name.
Oh, okay. I knew it had a meaning, and it wasn't a name. I
Right.
knew it had a meaning, but I just couldn't. I couldn't remember what it was. But anyways, I sent my otote to her, and she's looking over it, and she said, it had to have this one thing on it. After I sent it to her, she said her test was this one thing, and whew, it was there. Like she was like, she was so excited. It was fun. It was a lot of fun, and me and her been talking a lot.
Good deal. Yeah,
So,
I was hoping that would
oh yeah,
go over well.
yeah, and I was too. She's so sweet, and we're kind of polar opposites. I'm really not that nice. I know how to be, and I try to be, but sometimes I'm not. And she's so demure and sweet, that I'm afraid I'm gonna run over her like a tractor, So I
Right.
try really hard to. But we've been going back and forth for hours a day, just about. There may have been one day. I think we didn't talk on Shabbat, but man, she's got some good stuff, and she
Right.
won't put it out. Kind of like me, she's
Right.
like afraid to go too far, and it's hard to know.
Right.
I wanna put out the ad type because 'cause it's got all the inner calorie years on it, but right now, she's looking at it, and I'm gonna let her finish. I really wanted to get it out before the 20th, but that's tomorrow. I don't know. It's tough. Isn't tomorrow the 20th? Yeah, today's the 19th. Um, I want people to understand how it all works, and it doesn't have much of an explanation. I was writing an explanation page and it just got too hard. I was like, "Oh, I don't know if I can do this on one page." I may have to have more than one page, but I probably should write an explanation page before I send it to you. I had one and I got rid of it because it just got too involved. There's a lot of information on the scroll,
Right.
and I mean, on the chart, and I want everybody to understand what they're looking at. I don't know. And I want people to understand that, but this year it's like everybody's got their mind made up already, what they're gonna do, and it's 3 different choices, looks like, and, out of those 3, I know one of them's wrong, but the other 2, I'm going back and forth with, Christina about,
Right.
and I still think I'm correct, but I'm willing to listen to what she's doing so that I can, just get a different point of view and see if I might not be correct. I believe I am. I still believe I am, but we'll see what she comes out of it with. So I really wanted to do it by tomorrow, but I just don't see that. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah,
So
I'm still out. Haven't even dove into a lot of that you had sent me yet, and haven't even compiled all the notes and everything yet. But once I get to that, hopefully in a few weeks, it's gonna take me a while
yeah,
just to
yeah,
even
yeah,
get familiar with it. But
yeah.
um, I do have maybe one or two things for you. And once I'm done, I'm trying to figure out how to make some of this stuff a little cleaner and easier to read. Um, but I'll have to see what you think about that. Just
Okay.
about the inner calorie week, basically, right? Based off of
Well,
the Dead Sea Scrolls,
that's what's on the tote.
right?
That's what's on the tote.
So,
Is That's not all is on it, but that
right,
is on it.
yeah. So I'll have to go through that again and see what I've got.
Yeah, it's pretty. I don't think of it as complicated because I've been looking at it for so long, but I guess if nobody's seen it before, It's probably is. um, if I sent my tote to you, is there any way for you to just keep it under wraps? I
It's still
mean,
probably gonna
because
take
I
me a
don't mind
while
you
to
looking at it.
understand it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I just don't want. I don't know if I just want it out. I don't know.
You
I
can put it
don't know
in
if I just want
the
everybody
you can put it in
looking
my
at it. It's so
direct
cute.
message, or I think I had sent my email, but I can send that again if you'd like.
Yeah, I think I had your email. Yeah, I had it. Did you send it to me on Messenger? No, that
I'm
wouldn't be a
not
bad
sure.
spot to put it. Do you have Facebook Messenger?
Let me see.
Do do you ever do that?
Yeah, that's pretty much all I use it for.
Yeah, me too. It's fine on my
Occasionally the
kids. Yeah,
marketplace.
yeah, I look at Marketplace too.
Yeah, like my whole I don't know, whatever you call it, the front page and stuff, like there's pretty much nobody on it. It's just like random like companies or something that I followed or something like that. Some
Yeah,
manufacturer groups or something, and that's about it. I
I don't
just
even know what's on mine because the only friends I have, I mean, I have a few friends on there. I never post anything, so it's whatever my friends post or my kids, and there ain't no telling what my kids will post. They're crazy.
let's see.
So
Let me
what?
see if I can find you. I think I just found you. Two mutual
The penguin?
friends. Yep, Penguin. Okay. So I sent you a
Oh,
request there, and you could just send it to me
okay.
there. Yeah, I won't share nothing.
Okay. Yeah, if you don't mind, I'd like to start, be able to talk to somebody about that. Like Christina, she actually understands what I say when I talk, which is just a trip. You know,
Right.
it really is. It's unusual. So I'm not having to explain everything I'm saying to her before I say it. And
Yeah.
we even got off into some really deep stuff today. It was really fun. Um, but, um, well, I can confirm that, but I don't know
Yeah.
if it did it. I guess it, okay. Okay. Yeah. Um, so I'll I'll put my tote on there and you can pull it. I'm not sure how it's gonna come across. I've sent files before on Messenger and they did all right. Uh, I'll
It should
try.
work right.
And I think it says like Christina's copy is what it says. So
Okay.
I can change the name. I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. Uh, so I don't see you. Am I missing you here somewhere? You're not on my messenger. Let me refresh my page. Maybe that's.
Let's see.
Um, can you see my? I mean, can you send me a message and maybe
Yeah.
that'll make it pop up on mine?
Yeah, I sent you one.
Okay. Ah, there you are. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, I'll put it in there and you can just pull it up. I mean, do you have? I mean, are you like have a PC or is it
Yeah,
Apple or?
PC. Yeah.
Okay, PC. Okay, good. Because Apple, doesn't do real well with Excel. You have to get some kind of a app or something to open it. But anyways, give me a minute and I'll send it to you. I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Sounds
You
good.
you can call me back and did somebody come in? Did I miss something?
Yeah, Tammy's
Um,
here.
okay, I'll send it to you and you can, like, send me a message in a minute if you look at it. If you don't look at it today, I don't care.
Okay.
It's up to you.
Yeah, I'll let you know when I get it.
Okay, come on. Sorry, my thing doesn't wanna let me go here. I can't hang out because it won't it won't let me sometimes. Come on. There it is.
Here's the word and does not, but does not, and but.
Are you still recording, Josh?
I am. I'm just taking James slowly here and trying to get some good wording. I'll look over each word to see if I see anything strange. Does not carry it out. Here's the word, but does not do it, I guess. But does not. Does not. It's like a man who looks his own face in a mirror. Good, eh? Looking. Self goes away. Whoever makes it.
What's that?
Sorry, talking to myself. um, Trying to see if the Arabic looks but everyone who gazes into the perfect law of liberty. Yeah, okay, complete one. Yeah. Continues in it. He is not a hearer who heard what is forgotten, but is a doer of the works, and this one will be blessed in his works. Does that say the same thing? Like a performer. It's a weird word. He will be blessed in what he does. Kind of like the word work there. Let's look at the Greek here. One who looks intently. Liberty or freedom? And they both kind of mean the same thing, but which sounds better? Green's not coming up. Probably because I'm not casting it, am I? I'm not sharing it. Whoops. Never did do that. Here I thought, oh, I didn't even start it either. Hold on. Psst. Did know. I was sitting here by myself for a while. Yeah, law of liberty, law of freedom. And continues to do so, not being a forgetful. Continue to do so, not being a forgetful hearer, listener, but an effective doer. That's what. He will be blessed in what he does. If anyone thinks he is religious, does Aramaic use for that? Why can I never find it? Man thinks that he serves God. That sounds way better. does not hold his tongue, but deceives his heart. This person's service is worthless. Man, that's a way better way of putting that. I'm copying that over. It's too funny. That sounds a little bit better than if anyone thinks he's religious. Thinks himself to be religious. They all say religious, don't they? Except for that one. It's literally every translation, huh? Surprising. Self-righteous, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I have some sort of, I don't know, remember at least, I don't remember where I got ceremonious in worship. I don't know where I got that from. Let's look up this word religious. Self-righteous, yeah. Refers probably to a careful observance of religious restrictions. Religious, probably in a limited sense, devout. Oh, okay, that devout is still a better word than religious, right? Like, if you think that you're devoted to the law, but you can't seem to hold your tongue, you deceive your heart, and your devotion is worthless. That sounds better. If I was to keep it closer to the rest of the translations, and then I'll also put in the Aramaic serves God, because I mean that's better than religious devotion. That still makes sense. And yeah, that's something I am seeing not working. Why is it not working? Blow on it. Sounds like it works. Made him a weird whistle flute thing. Um, okay, so thinks he is de- he is devoted, and then I someone disagrees with it, and then thinks he is devoted, thinks he is serving God. Is trying to see if I can put this in a way that fits this grammar. Yet does not restrain his tongue, deceives his heart, then his devotion. Devotion. Make sure that's the same word. 23. It's 2356. 2357. Okay, variation of the same word, but yeah, I'll still. What's this? It's devotion. That sounds very clear to me now. Observant. Doesn't. What is KGJV plus? Is that a different version? Is that like a revised kind of thing? Didn't know there was a new one. Okay. Yeah, I wish this had more versions on it as well. There's some that I would like on here. Doesn't even have like it says additional translations, but still the list could be longer. Doesn't even have like RSV and some other common ones. But Windows. And next verse. Verse. Fix this real quick. Thinks he deceives the heart and versus service is words and his service. Pigeon uses observant as well on the Sefer. I kind of wonder what he based some of his translation on, because it seems like it's word for a lot of certain translation. I forget what, but sometimes he'll pick some better words here and there. There's some different ones. Let's see, AP. I had the Sefer on my phone, of course, because it's digital. I don't know if I can re-download it again. It's been, I don't know, 1 or 2 phones ago. I need to probably get it on there, but I kind of was hesitant on spending the full price for that book. Although I did get the where did I put it? I just moved all my shelves around. That what it's called? It's the first 5 books with all the effectively with all the Talmudic commentary on it as you read. No, not the Targum. Let me grab it real quick. Yeah. Okay. The I heard this talked about a lot in an old group of mine. It's the Chumash. Chumash. Um, they have the writings and history or something like that as well. I think they have it separated like that for the Tanakh. Yeah, it was like a $60 book as well. It's nicely made. Um, I wouldn't mind getting the rest of them, but at least if I'm ever going to cross-reference the Talmud, especially like again for anyone who's familiar with it and they happen to be reading my thing, then it gives some little diagrams. A lot of it I just don't agree with or feel is outdated or what have you. But of course, like the temple stuff, but it tries to give you measurements and things like this. There's a lot of diagrams and what have you. And of course, Leviticus 1 about clean animals might be a little off, but this is just the understanding of Judaism here, which is not terrible to have. Um, I don't really take much of what they say. I'll look at how they do their. Um, let's see if my camera can be bigger here. Is currently in or used to be in Judaism, then it would be a good conversation starter. Yeah, I should probably link to that, huh? Um, book. Is it not finding this then? There it is. I was pretty certain that I pay like $67 for it, but I'm seeing it's like 35 right now. Can't type fast enough. Yeah, neither can I. Um, I don't remember what website I originally got it from. I think this is the one that I have. Yeah, that one. It looks more readable online, but they have Stone Edition. I don't know if this is the same thing expounded. It looks like 5 books. I don't know what's different about it. Bigger text, or is it the same thing? I have no idea. Got each of the Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. Yeah. And they, of course, don't call it Talmud. They just say rabbinic writings. But yeah. Let's see. Interlinear one. French. I know they have one for the writings or something like this, but I'm not sure who makes this. Art Scroll. That's right. See if I can find their website. Yeah, we had quite a few that were extreme fans of this thing, but yeah, in that group they were leaning pretty hard, especially a few of them on the understandings in Judaism. Here's the writings. English only edition of the Tanakh. Save some paper, I guess, if you don't really care to look at the Masoretic. They got all kinds of different versions. Midrash, it's just straight up, just the Midrash there, I guess. Bible all. Really all? All? Jaffa edition. Prophets, there we go. Yeah, I don't know what they mean by all. If it's, what's this Bible all? I think it's just a category on this page. I don't know much about all their different versions and writing and stuff here. That's 24 books. Yeah, 24 books of the Bible. So Old Testament, and it used to be, well, 24, and now it's 35 in the American canon. Split up, I mean, same books, just split up. Uh, I think that this is the 24 books that's mentioned in Second Baruch, something like that. Or is it Ezra's? Talks about, yeah, Baruch, right? When he had to, is it Baruch? Now I'm confused. When he had to rewrite scripture, and there was like 90 or 94 or 294, depending on the source, but yeah, 94, let's say, different scriptures, and then it says 24 was for everybody, and the 70 was for the wise, basically. I wonder if they had it set at 24 because 24, like as in the 24 priests or 12 tribes, 12 apostles. There's a lot of 24s. No problem. All right, let me service. Right, the service. See that. This is going to be, if anyone thinks he serves God, I'm going to just say, thinks he, yeah, serves. Serves God. That way I can get rid of this, keep it clean. So this is the very reason I'm doing this. Hopefully it's coming across all right on YouTube here. Um, is to kind of look between different sources or translations to kind of reaffirm or at least see from a different perspective on what the text might be saying, and then of course read it in context. And if we have any more interesting cross references like the text in the 12 patriarchs here, then we can kind of see the same concept talked about. So basically, this is trying to keep you away from hypocrisy, or in the Greek, it's that word for actor or effectively poser, right? So don't be a poser. Actually, do what you believe, right? Walk it out. One intently on here. Right. Oh, I didn't go here. Okay. Pure and undefiled. Okay, here's that word again. Pure and undefiled religion. Pure and undefiled 56. 56. Devotion. See if that says the same thing in the Aramaic. Clearly a better word. Pure. Oh, Aramaic. All right. For pure and holy ministry before God. Okay. Read this out all the way here. Something about tree? Free? Free at the moment? Oh, my cursor is blocking the top of the F. Like I read tree.
Okay, I'm gonna have to jump on the chat part. I can't keep up typing.
Okay, pure and undefiled.
Yeah, see the other versions, the King James New Edition, the New King James, and the Cipher all said the whatever I typed in there.
Right.
Observant.
Observant, yeah.
And another one posted, and I forget which translation it was, but it said the way that seems right in his own mind. That was a cross reference verse to
Huh.
that.
It's interesting that the
Proverb.
these are different one here. So I'll put Proverbs something?
Yeah, Proverbs 16:25 and Proverbs 14:12. And those are from the Cipher translation.
Like the benefit of having a physical copy is the cross references there. I don't remember them in the online one.
Okay, King James says the same thing. So forgetful here is the one that thinks that he's doing right in his own eyes.
Right. seems right to a man, but its end is the way to death. Exactly. Didn't it just say something like that? Oh, this was about desire. Becomes pregnant to sins and leads to death. Okay. I like it still. Let's see. Just for fun. There is a way that seems right in the eyes of the children of men. That's funny how it puts that. And yeah, a man. Maybe it was B'nai Adam or something. Children of men in its path are the paths of death. So, same but different. And then at 1412. There's a way this is right there, man. Okay, it's the same thing too, huh? He said it twice. You didn't get it the first time. And then, funny enough, Aramaic says it a little different. There's a way that man thinks is right, and its ways are the ways of death. That is a great cross reference. I get copy that right.
I think so.
Might have to just put that on the page somehow. That's too good.
I'm
feel
trying
like
to
I
go
would
back through and look at my notes.
feel like I'd get attacked if I quoted that to somebody while they were getting kind of nasty.
Well, then quote him Romans 3, 8. Yeah, Romans 3:10 through 18.
Wrong.
I was trying to figure out where it said "as it is written."
Yeah, there's a few of those that I can't seem to find, and some of these don't have a reference to them. Makes you wonder. Um, none. Let me make sure this is coming on screen. Okay. None is righteous, not one. Okay, I remember. Not one understands, not one seeks for God. All have turned aside. Together they have become worthless. Well, look at that. Devotion is worthless, right? Not one does good, not even one. And, oh, I remember. That's from one of the prophets. One of them.
Yeah, I want to say Isaiah.
Uh, let's see if I have it here. I can hope. Why am I missing 12? Um, hey, look at that. Psalms. Okay, I guess David or something maybe then. Wait, hold on. Psalms. Why do I have more than one Psalms here? Interesting. So I've got Psalms 51, 116. Okay, two of them. So I guess I'll put that one up there for now. Let's do this.
Yeah, because if you really wanted to go into detail for that James section right there, then Matthew goes into details of what would proceed out of the heart.
Right. The venom of asses under their lips, their mouth is full of curses and bitterness, their feet are swift to shed blood, and their paths are ruin and misery. And I don't have that on screen. And the way of peace they have not known. This way of peace. Seen that quite a few times. They have not known. There's no fear of God before their eyes. So, no respect for the Father nor each other, and they're just doing things in their own way. Sounds about right. Let's see, Proverbs. Sorry, not Proverbs. Let's look up Psalms. This is something.
Psalms 140
Oh wait,
verse
I was in the
3
wrong
is a good
spot.
one.
Hold on. Right? Hold on. Let's see. Every man. Where is this in 3? Oh, okay. So yeah, this is weird in Romans. So you have all these. This is all from like multiple different references that he's just like jammed together because it's the same idea, same concept, but there's so many references I have right here. I don't even know if I have them all, but like the Psalms, kind of like with Proverbs, will repeat the exact same phrase. So Psalms
Yeah.
14 and 5, 14, 140, 14, only in the
And
Septuagint, and then also, yeah, it's weird. And then 10, yeah, you see all these different ones, Psalms and Isaiah, all to produce this one paragraph here.
right. And then to go with that is when
Except
you
for that.
start getting into Matthew. You know, when Matthew says, don't be like this, this, and this. Let me look and see what that reference is.
Right. I actually don't have. Is that for that one? I think that's for that one. Okay. Okay, yeah, I think I got that right. Welcome back.
Matthew 12.
Hey, Josh.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
I need
Matthew
a
12.
I need a hint. Do you know anything about servers?
Very little. Networking is, yeah, no. One of my
I'm
least things. What's the question?
well, I'm in trouble because my emails broke for work, and I guess Google sold their servers to um Squarespace,
Hmm.
and now all of a sudden my email's down, the website's down, and I don't know how to fix it,
Weird.
and I can't get in touch with trying to get in touch with Google
Yeah,
is
good
like,
luck. Yeah.
It's because they're moving everything to the cloud.
well, you know what? It's funny you said that because it said the only way to get in touch with them is on Facebook Messenger, right? And it says, and you go to their website, you type it in Squarespace, their Facebook page, and it says hello down there, and it's Squarespace, right? It's like makes me think of that Planet X crap, They're like hello down there, and they're taking over.
That's a strange way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah, they want me to sync all of my emails, and one of them they want to sync it up to the cloud. And I was like, that's a negatory ghostwriter. Thank you. At the moment, I'm
They
not.
they've cut mine off, so I don't know what to do. I don't know how to fix it. And I'm not like a tech guy where I can fix all this stuff. So I had to try to contact Google, and try to contact Wix, where my web page is hosted, and then Squarespace, and nobody can help me.
Hey,
Sounds
reach
about right.
out and ask Marsha if she knows of an IT guy.
Marsha,
Yeah, Marsha's usually pretty knowledgeable in those kind of things. If she doesn't know, she might know somebody that might know.
yeah, that's what I'll do. I'm on the road too. I'm heading to Florida, so it's kind of hard to do on your phone while you're driving.
Yeah, probably
All
shouldn't
this
do that.
stuff. But I didn't mean to interrupt y'all.
Oh, no, you're good. What was that, Matthew, that you had? 12?
Matthew 12:34. It says,
30.
O generation of vipers, how can you, being evil, speak good things? For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
the tree good and its fruit good, or make the tree bad and its fruit bad, for the tree is known by its fruit. Always talking about the same thing. Always, always. Be fruitful. Be doers. Brood of vipers. Let's just see for fun. Let's pull that up. Offspring of vipers. That's funny. How can you who are evil speak good things? For from the fullness of the heart the mouth speaks. Does that say the same thing? Yeah.
Okay, Matthew 15:19 was one. Mark 7:21 through 22 backs that up. And 1 Corinthians 6:9 through 10. Actually, there's a whole lot of references to that because there's one in Galatians too.
Alright, well, let's start getting these down. Matthew 12, 34, 34. And there's another Matthew.
Matthew 15:19.
And what?
Mark 7:21 through 22.
In Galatians?
1 Corinthians
Oh.
6:9 through 10. And Galatians 5:19 through 21.
19. Wait, Galatians what through 21?
5:19 through 21.
Don't know how I missed that. 5, 19, 21. Got it.
Ooh, Ephesians 2:1 through 3 and Ephesians 5:3 through 6. I'll back those up also.
Ephesians 1, 1 through 3?
Ephesians 2:1 through 3.
I'm not guessing this. Okay, 1 through 3. And Ephesians
5:3 through 6.
3 to 6. Okay.
I'm looking at the Colossians and Timothy ones right now. Yeah, Colossians 3:5 through 9. Revelations 21:8. And Revelations 22:15. The rest of them, the Timothy ones, all pretty much say almost the exact same thing. So I just kind of skimmed over that one. If they're using the eSword and they click on any of that, they'll have like, I don't know, 10 or 12 references right there.
Right. See what they have on the side over here. Wickedness proceeds from the wicked, but my hand will never be against you. As the old proverb says, that's from Samuel. What? What proverb did they have?
Was it Proverbs 8:13?
I don't
I
know.
have to
I
go
mean,
look
this
now.
is, let's see, 1 Samuel 24. Is this David yet?
Let me look here.
I know
What is it
Proverbs.
again for Samuel?
1 Samuel 24:13. I know Proverbs doesn't mean the book of Proverbs, but I thought that was interesting that it says proverb. I know it's like, oh, the saying, but still. It's interesting that he's quoting from some saying.
Yep. Yeah, I think so, because he also, in the reference for wickedness, quotes Matthew 15:19.
Saying this?
So I think 1 Samuel 24:13 is one of the references to where it says it is written.
It's not.
There are 93 verses found that start with the words "it is written," or that have the words "it is written" in it.
Well,
So it'll take a little bit to go cross reference the original command or whatever that is.
it says, as the proverb of the ancients say. That's an interesting phrase. Why did they translate it that way? Old saying. What is Aramaic say? Yeah. Proverb of the ancients. Wonder if I can find that in Enoch. That would be interesting. Just because.
I'm kind of wondering that. I'm wondering if Enoch, Jasher, or Jubilees has something of this similar nature. Book of Wisdom. I wonder if the Book of Wisdom would too, because the Book of
Possibly.
Wisdom almost goes hand in hand with Proverbs.
Fine.
The other one would be the Book of Gad, because Gad went so closely together with I think it was the Book of James. Book of James or Isaiah, I forget which one of the two.
Good. Good. Hopefully it uses the word.
Oh yeah, it is. It's if he keeps scrolling down to the woes. Oops, too far. A little bit higher.
Oh, the woes. Okay. I literally have them separated and I didn't see it. Okay, let me clean this up a little. Woe to the sinners on the day of strong anguish. Uh, you who afflict the righteous and burn them with fire, you will be requited according to your own works. Lake of fire. Woe to you, you
Obstinate of heart.
obstinate.
I think that is what he is talking about in that verse that you're breaking down where we had a problem with that word.
That's an interesting phrase. Obstinate of heart. Let me see what this funny dictionary says. It's an older dictionary. Stubborn?
Stiff necked.
Yeah. Stubborn, hard-hearted, probably, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Heart of stone. I forget what like the regular dictionary term for obstinate is.
To abstain from something, right? Is that the same?
Yeah,
Or is that with an A?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't
I don't want to
English
get
very
you
well
down too
sometimes.
many. I don't want to get down too many rabbit trails and get off track here again.
Who watch in order to devise wickedness, therefore will fear come upon you, and there will be none to help you. Woe to you, you sinners, on account of the words of your mouth. There's that talking thing again. And on
Yeah, and I
account of
have.
the deeds.
Oh, sorry about that.
Oh, sorry.
I
go.
have a bunch of verses for the tongue and the full study that I did on things that talk about the tongue.
You're going to get something worse than fire. Like it.
Seeing the unforgivable sin is blaspheming the Holy Spirit, and I'd have to go back and look at the verses that referenced with that.
Yeah, I was just seeing someone had post. I think I saw a Facebook post or something like that, and it was asking Leviticus something because the Leviticus 24, I want to say 24 or something. I think I made a note of it, but because the Greek was saying something funny. Really, it was saying the same thing. It's just that translation and kind of the way it's said is kind of funny. But let's see. I guess you can't see what I'm doing here. Desperately need to clean all this up. 24:16. He that blasphemes the name of Yahuwah will surely be put to death, and all the congregation will certainly stone him, as well as the stranger. King James. As he that is born in the land, when he blasphemes the name of Yahuwah, he will be put to death. So it repeats it twice. It says the same thing in the Samaritan Pentateuch. But in the Greek, it says, and he that names the name of Yahuwah. So this is invokes or calls, calls the name of Yahuwah, let him die the death. So this seems to imply that you're calling it in not a good way, judging especially by the verse before it, a few verses before it. But it doesn't specify like blaspheme or what have you. But it's just like you're you're trying to use his authority without his behavior, right? Is the simplest way I could put that, right? Or you're doing it for selfish reasons, or you're trying to get something, whatever it may be. So then the congregation will stow him when the stranger or native, whether it be stranger or native, let him die for naming the name. So this was confusing to the person that posted it because they're like, is this saying like, oh, they're saying the wrong name? I'm like, no, don't get started with that again. And then you look at the Greek, it's kind of clear, but
what verse was that again?
24:16 in Leviticus. I'm having trouble with my words. I will have to get that Greek name. I looked it up on my phone, so apparently I didn't put it on here. This looks terrible.
Yeah, because it went with Exodus 27. Oh, Naboth. In 1 Kings 21, 10 through 13, Naboth blasphemed the name of Yahweh and the king. So they carried him forth out of the city and stoned him with stones that he died.
There you go. And that would be the same as, and I was telling him, I said it's like, whenever the Israelites were building the golden calf, right? I'm like, they're saying that they're calling on his name or whatever perversion of it, where like, oh, we don't have a mediator now because Moses is just missing, so let's make one, right? And then they started doing, abominable things, of course, or what have you. Doesn't detail it, but so they're calling on him, but yet they're not calling on him, right?
Yeah.
And then they were killed. So I don't know. Didn't say that they were stoned. It just said they were just killed. But I need to make something on that because that's a whole subject of itself. Not to get off course again, but I'm just make something real quick.
No, just take the notes of Matthew 12:31, Mark 3:28 through 29. I'm going too fast for you.
12:31.
Yeah, Matthew 12:31, Mark 3:28 through 29, 1 Kings 21:10 through 13. Give me a second here. I'm looking at a couple other ones.
How do we come to this? Forgot.
Yeah, James
So-
2:7.
James.
It doesn't go into great detail. It says, "Do not they blaspheme that worthy name by the which ye are called." So you'd have to read James 2:7 for, in context to that. But that all goes with Leviticus 24:16. That way, when you get ready to, broach that subject, you'll already have your stuff in place. Because it's ordered in Exodus 20, verse 7. They are not to take the name of Yahweh in vain.
Right.
Now, in the spiritual armor studies that we did, there is a blog on there that talks about the name of Yahweh. And that is one of the things that's in there is blaspheming the holy name or taking his name and making it vain,
Right.
Especially in how you pray or,
Right.
like you were saying with the golden calf and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it could be taken to a few different levels, of course, right? Not to the extremes only, right? And we see, I mean, basically it comes down to like, are you doing this for selfish reasons or for your own gain or for wicked things, let's say?
Right. Because, like I was saying, I have a family member that they live with one foot in the way of the world, but they claim that they're a Christian.
Right.
And so one day they said, "Oh, I'm praying to God," because, they were having some difficulties. And I said, "Well, which God are you praying to?" Because, when you listen to their words, especially since most of their studies are leading them to a New Age belief, they don't realize that they are using the Father's name or Yeshua's name in vain because they didn't take the time to study out the power of that name.
On? No? Okay.
Yeah, we lost the one guy. But yeah, I started writing down some more verses that went with the James. Especially when it came to words like the tongue, envy, forgiveness. There was a seal of righteousness and circumcision that I wanted to look into later on. But that's a whole different topic for a different day.
The Aramaic says, and whoever will execrate execrate the name of the Lord surely will be killed, and simply stone him. When he has execrated my name, he will be killed. Oh, now it's in the first person.
That is interesting.
Weird. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it says funny things sometimes. Because Septuagint says this similar to the other ones where they kind of almost repeat the same phrase word for word. Or actually, this does. This one does not exactly. So instead of saying the name of Adonai Yahuwah is how they always put it in the Aramaic. I'm not sure why, but they anytime it comes close to even saying Yahuwah, they will say that. But then it says
I
my
think
name.
it's out of the fear. Yeah, I think it's out of the fear that they might accidentally blaspheme his name.
Yeah,
That's where you allow fear to get in there.
Yeah, they put that stronger title every time they say his name. So yeah, that's kind of fun and interesting. And the English capitalizes all of it, so it's really easy to see. And then yeah, name my name instead of the name. The name. Whereas the Greek just says the Lord twice. The name of
See, and being a forgetful hearer would also fall under that, the blaspheming of his name, because what they're saying and doing is going to be used in vain. You know, just like to them, Yeshua's sacrifice is being done in vain because of the fact that they're not walking in obedience. They're choosing to try to walk one way in the world and one way, you know, in Yahweh's way.
Right.
It's interesting how they say it's a forgetful hearer and an effective doer. Don't be a hearer of the word, be a doer.
Right. Say about that, it said, and which is able to save your soul, right? Therefore, put away your filthiness and expression of wickedness, and humbly receive the word planted in you, which is able to save.
And you have up there the testimony of Gad. Right. So I'm thinking that when they talk about the text of the ancients, where it is written, it could also be in Gad, where it goes in greater details.
Well, the one that was saying that was in Samuel, so assumingly David. I didn't read through it, but I thought that was weird. So I'm like, who's ancient to David? And that's why I was looking for it in Enoch. And it says Proverbs, so it's like, well, it's not Solomon because he's not alive yet.
Right. You know what? It brings me to the order of Melchizedek. Don't ask me why, but that's what I'm thinking of. Abraham and the order of Melchizedek. Because that was during the time that Sodom and Gomorrah was, you know, destroyed.
Right. That's true. In those days. Yeah, I was hoping to find. I know it might not have the same kind of wording in R.H. Charles' version, but I don't know what else word I would look for. Evil? I don't know. Hoping to find evil. Wait, wickedness proceeds from the wicked. Something along those lines. That might be a hard one to find by searching. What's up, bud?
I see my TV.
See, self-indulgent sinners went with that James verse. The forgetful hearer.
Well, here's another whoa, whoa, whoa. Wait, hold on. In the day of tribulation. Okay. I like that. Okay, this just looks interesting. Let me make sure it's on the screen right. Be hopeful, you righteous, for suddenly will the sinners perish before you, and will have lordship over them according to your desires, and the day of the tribulation of the sinners, your children will mount and rise as eagles. So, okay, so this is the day of the Lord then. So the resurrection, and higher than the vultures will be your nest, and you will ascend and enter the crevices of the earth, the clefts of the rock forever as conies. What is conies again?
Conies are a type of bird. They're cliff dwelling birds.
Oh, look at you. All right, cliff. That was way off. Cliff dwelling bird. Let's put that for now. I was thinking it was some
I used
sort
to
of
watch
critter.
I used to watch a lot of documentaries.
Before righteous and the sirens. What sirens? What is this word siren for? Let's
Now that one has multiple meanings, so you'll have to look up how it's going to be referenced there.
Let's look up in the funny dictionary here. Too bad Ari Charles didn't make a dictionary of his words. Sirens. Meaning. Greek word. Well, I know alarm, but like beyond that, something will sigh. So this is where I put this into really obnoxious pink here for someone to figure out. Will sigh because of you and weep. Therefore, wherefore, fear not that you have suffered, for healing will be your portion, and a bright light will enlighten you, and the voice of rest you will hear from heaven. That's an interesting title. Woe unto you, woe to you, sinners, for your riches make you appear like the righteous, but your hearts convict you of being sinners. That sounds interesting. Sounds like the Pharisees as well, especially, and this fact will be a testimony against you for a memorial of all your evil deeds. Woe to you who devour the finest of wheat and drink wine in large bowls, and tread underfoot the lowly with your might, the oppressors, and Woe to you who drink water from every fountain, for suddenly you will be consumed and wither away, because you have forsaken the fountain of life. That's cool. Parallel. That's cute. All right. Woe to you who work unrighteousness and deceit and blasphemy. For now. But work unrighteousness, deceit, and blasphemy. It will be a memorial against you for evil. Woe to you, you mighty, who with might oppress the righteous, for the day of your destruction is coming. In those days many and good days will come to the righteous in the day of your judgment. Enoch especially gives a lot of titles for the day of the Lord.
Yeah. Hey, on the siren word, is there anywhere in one of the other 66 canon texts that it uses the word siren?
Now we're thinking.
I was trying to look up a verse for that.
Let's put something weird here in the Bible. First.
Monkey, I feel.
What is this? First EN. That's not Enoch, is it?
EN might be Enoch. I'm not sure. What you looking in? Bible Hub?
No, I just randomly try to Google it, but how many times does it use it here? It does use it in 19. So yeah, that's First Enoch. I'm surprised it came up with that. The women also of the messengers who went astray will become sirens,
See, I remember reading something about the sirens.
Well, that's interesting. Connected themselves with women, and the spirits in different forms are defiling mankind and will lead them astray into sacrificing to demons as gods. You're hungry? All right.
They are similar to a mermaid. Roman poets placed them on some small islands called Sirenum Scopuli. It's Greek mythology. Odessa wrote supposedly a lot about them.
So I wonder if it's the same kind of idea where they're calling you. They're bringing you in, right? Which it seems to be what these
Right.
women did with these angels is they like made themselves up and went after them. Is what Enoch explains at least. So maybe that's why it uses the word siren, and I'm assuming because this is from uh, the Greek and the Geas. I don't know.
Here's something interesting about it. So I'm looking at the Theoi Greek mythology thing on Google, and it says sirens are a half bird woman of Greek mythology. The sirens were three monstrous sea nymphs who lured sailors to their death with bewitching songs. They were formerly handmaidens of the goddess something rather. Persephone? I don't know how to pronounce that. And so when she was secretly abducted by Hades, Demeter gave them the bodies of birds to assist in the search. They eventually gave up and settled on the flowery island of Anthemosessa. I mean, I'd rather believe the Book of Enoch than some of this junk.
That's
But if they
us.
were sea creatures, it kind of made me think of the Leviathan serpent things that we were looking at.
Uranus. Serenus?
Yeah,
Serenus? Like serenade? Serenade? Where does that word come from?
serenading, I'm
Yeah.
not sure. But most of these claim that they were a half woman and half bird.
Right.
So that almost makes me think of the cockatrice in a way, too. But they were mostly sea monsters. Now, what were we reading about the poisonous sea creatures?
Right. Serenade is an Italian name that goes into French. A word, I mean. Serenus. Serenus? That does look eerily close to that. It's kind of funny how it has the word Sierra and that just happens to be, but not looking into that. But
Right. Now, according to the realmaids.net, they keep saying that the sirens were the real mermaids, like the original mermaid kind of thing.
Right.
All I know is the creeper or the pictures of them are pretty creepy. But I was just kind of curious if there was any verses in the 66 canon that use the word siren, and I didn't see it in the ones that I have in the eSword.
As far as this can tell, there's no root word for this Greek word? Is it only used for this one creature? You're forgetting what I'm saying here. But yet it's trying to say, and that's what I'm saying here, is it's not related etymologically to the word serenade, which look like they will be related. I was wondering if it means like, singing one or serenading one or something like that, because that would kind of make sense with the Enoch thing. He's like, well, maybe they were singing to them and trying to impress them, something like that.
Right.
But yeah, it seemed like it was a stretch, I guess. I don't know. Therefore, thematically linked between serenade and this one concept are not linguistically or directly related. Well, wait, here, serenade.
Ooh, Isaiah 13:22 and Micah 1:8.
No, not this kind of weird Wikipedia thing. Gee. A little bit off from James here, but this is okay. So it's from the Greek to Latin to French. Second. My wife was calling. So, I know that's kind of half cut off. It says Middle English denoting an imaginary type of snake. Old French.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Origin of the word siren. Attested first as a serpent in 14. I don't know what OED is. It's of Greek origin. The Greek root Syria denotes cord or rope. Finally, I'm getting somewhere. So a metaphoric suggestion of sirens as entanglers or binders. That gives a whole new
Snakes.
connotation.
Yeah, the spider webs. Remember the entanglement of the spider webs?
Right. So they are ensnaring them somehow. I would imagine not literally
Right.
trying to trap these angels, but maybe emotionally or something like this.
You know what? Enchantments. Look and see if enchantments goes hand in hand with the sirens. Because when I was looking into these few verses I told you about, they associate them with owls and jackals. But enchantment came to mind.
Chastising ChatGPT for not giving me the answer I wanted. Which means cord, rope. Some scholars suggest that Yeah, okay, now you're just giving me what I just Googled there. Like word for word. You're just Googling things. It's literally this phrase that I just saw. It's cheating.
Yes, it is.
I was hoping it would give me a more
Oh,
clear answer.
what's that AI thingy that you use?
That's what I'm using right here.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I'm not a big fan of, because I think it's creepy, but
right.
might actually pull up some really interesting information on that.
So yeah, drawing sailors, and the idea is that the enchanting music of the sirens ties the listener in place. So it's as
Medusa
if they
with her
are roping
snakes.
them, right? Yeah, I wonder if there's a connection with that as well. Well, the connection between is speculative, really. It's not universally accepted among scholars. So they're saying that it's not really certain that that word is the root of that, but I'll take it. It makes sense to me. I don't know. It's the best I've got. So for some reason, I'm guessing that R.H. Charles transliterated this. I guess I could look it up in the Giaz later, but I'll leave that looking like that for now.
Yeah, because that'll be an interesting topic to, go down that little rabbit trail later on, because I think it's connected in with the whole serpent thingy.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot on this subject. I think I'll have to make a kind of comprehensive breakdown of this with the under just blasphemy, I guess. If we can kind of keep it all under there, or however, or I don't know, hypocrisy. I don't know. Should that be
Yeah,
separate from it?
I think it should be separate from blaspheming, because it falls under the characteristics of
Let's spell
wickedness.
that right. Oh, hypocrisy and uh, acting, pretending. Oh, bye-bye.
I see my hair.
Still waiting for Mama?
Yeah.
I know there's another good word for that, but at the moment it slips my brain cell.
Well, that sounds like a good study for another time there. This is where I would usually end it here, or I'm going to try to limit myself here, but of course now is when I want to kind of keep going, but I'm going to burn myself out again.
But yeah, and that's why we got to come back to the main thing here, James,
Right.
and
Well,
then trying to finish up that.
I almost got all of, pretty much got all of James 1 looked at. I can't say done, but looked at now. So I think I definitely understand what it's teaching here very thoroughly now, and can't wait to go to more of it. Pointing to it. Okay, I am on the screen. Okay. All right, well, I'll call that good for now, and I'm going to go feed these little boys.
Sounds like a plan. Yeah, because like I said, all of James is just an amazing book, especially when it's given all these examples of how we're supposed to be walking out our walk in obedience, being a witness to others.
Right.
Even in our, I think it's the trials and error things. As you're looking at your trials and errors, are you going to lead by emotion, or are you going to lead and trust in the Father, kind of thing? And that's where you got to be humble, I guess you could say, constantly checking yourself and checking your spirit. That's why I keep referencing back to James, because there's so many references to snakes and the tongues throughout James and any of the correlating verses that go with that.
So where did you find the siren at in James? What verse?
No, that was in Enoch. A couple places in Enoch. 19 and 96. I assume it's just transliterated from the Greek of whatever he was pulling from R.H. Charles. I'll have to look at the Richard Lawrence later, see if he uses a different word.
how'd you get there from James? What I was wondering.
Uh,
You went to Enoch.
We were looking into the Wicked Hearts and how
Right.
it was ancient text. It said it is written in the ancient
oh, yeah, and
to
that
the
was
ancients or something ancients.
Wicked. I had it here.
I was getting a little loud there. Oops.
From
Yeah, it was referencing to how it is written, and that's what led us down that rabbit trail.
out of the wicked comes wickedness. It says from as the proverb of the ancients say. This is from 1 Samuel 24:13. So we're trying to figure out, like, what is he referencing? If it's ancient for him, if this is David, then what is he referencing? So I would assume it's Enoch. It seemed like that was like their Bible of that time, according to there's a little excerpt from a pretty fragmented scroll, and it's of Abraham whenever he goes to Egypt and talks to the Pharaoh. And after that whole thing with his wife, he actually ended up saying, "Hey, I'm going to read Enoch to you," right? And it seemed like he was referring to it as like, this is the scriptures, right? Now, how big that book was at that time, who knows? But it seemed to be like that was their Bible of that time. Whether that
Yeah,
included
because it
other
was
things.
before. Yeah, it was before Moses.
Right.
So that's what led us back into Enoch, was because when Abraham had went to go save Lot from the Chaldean, kings or whoever that was, he paid homage or tithes to the order of Melchizedek, the high priest of the order of Melchizedek. So that's another referencing into, the ancients, and which led us back into Enoch, because I thought to myself, like Josh was saying, who would David be referencing to as, the ancient writings or the ancient guy? And that's how we came into the book of Enoch, which led us to the sirens, which I think have to deal with, the wickedness of the heart, because of the verse that was talking about the sirens mourning, and when Enoch was reading out the woes to the angels, the fallen angels. Yeah, the women also, the messengers who went astray, will become sirens. That's what Uriel was telling them.
Right.
Man, I need a bigger notebook.
Some better highlighting here. This is looking crazy. Do I have the RH trail? Oh, wait, I have the. It's bugging me too much. I gotta look it up now. So let's see what. Let me pull up my parallel Enoch here. Parallel Enoch, and also. Come on, move out of the way. Giaz Enoch.
Because that's what I'm wondering, if it isn't somewhere referenced, just a light reference into Jashers and Jubilees too.
13. 13. Actually, this is the
Have you
parallel.
found Giaz edition to be different in any way? Found
I have not used it enough. What are these? Giaz Greek fragment. Oh wow, that's like Giaz Greek fragment. How does that work? Like what?
Well, if you know how to read that, I can't.
I see and. That's the only Greek word I see there. But why is this? Why is it saying Greek, but then it says Giaz? Giaz is a language. It's like saying the English French fragment or something. I'm not sure. That is weird, but I like how they have that picture there. But why is that the only thing here? Next chapter. What chapter am I on? 110. Hold on. Chapter 1. Oh, I see where the chapter is now. 19. Okay. There we go. So, each of these boxes are a verse. You can't see the whole thing. Hold on. It's still not going to be very clear. So, women, something. Well, it keeps going to.
Oh, I seen it. Go back.
Seen it? Oh, sirens?
Yep, there it is.
All right, I'm gonna keep that in frame there. And the
I don't know
women
how I managed to
also.
see it.
Yeah, me either. So we got Charles Strode, Scode. I don't know how you say his name, and Richard Lawrence. So they don't all use siren. So, and the women, having led astray the angels of heaven, will be like their friends.
Oh, hey, I remember something about this. Okay, that just triggered a brain cell. So when it said that they would be turned into sirens, somebody was doing some kind of like down a rabbit trail thing where they were talking about how they believed that the women that mated with the daughters of men, their punishment was to become sirens. Who was that? Steve from Alabama's. Steve, yeah, I'll have
Maybe
to
that
find
was
his
from
deal on
here.
that.
Yeah, will become siren. So that must be from the R.H. Charles then. So now, why
Oh,
this says will be
you know,
like their friends is, I guess they'll
why
meet
why
the
you're
same
talking about
end. Sorry, what?
while you're talking about Enoch, I just found out something. You know, it says that the fallen angels, that they were going, part of their punishment was they were going to watch their children kill each
Right.
other for 500 years. Well, that's the third and fourth generation. So I thought that was kind of interesting because 4 generations or whatever, it's supposed to be like 490 years, thereabouts. So
Right.
so even, you know, they're even suffering for to the third and fourth generation.
Yeah, they were
So
supposed to watch them for
I thought that
about
was
500 years. Yeah.
Okay,
right, just like just go ahead.
I'll have to find that video, Josh. 'Cause, what chapter is this in Enoch that you seen this?
19. It's also in 94. So the Richard Lawrence says, and their wives also will be judged. Okay. And who
Yeah.
led the angels of heaven, who led astray the angels of seven, that they might salute them. Huh. That they might salute them.
Okay.
So I think it's just saying that they're going to meet the same judgment. Like they're going to be the ones that deceived them those and the angels will be thrown in the lake of fire. But
Right.
why they use sirens or why he transliterated that or why the Greek used that, I don't know.
Well, I have to go back and look up this guy. I always call him Steve from Alabama. He's going through a big, whatever you want to call it, thing on the book of Enoch. And I remember him saying in like the chapter 19 section of the book of Enoch, there was something about that verse that had tripped him up about the sirens, and that he was watching one of Zach Bauer's New to Torah segments, and I don't remember all of it, how it got worded this way, but anyways, I think their theory was the women that had mated with the angels, the fallen angels, their punishment was to become sirens. And so, and I forget how they got to that whole section of, theory, but it would make sense when you go back and you look at how the sirens are sighing, as the woes are being handed out. Because I think for some, had they have known what their punishment was going to be, for like the so-called eternal death, then they may not have fallen for the enchantment and charms of the fallen angels.
Well, it does make you wonder, regardless of if this is saying this or not, like what would the punishment be for a person who seduces an angel and succeeds at it? What would be that punishment besides the lake of fire, right?
Look at Sodom and Gomorrah. That's why I said
Right.
I think part of James references back to Sodom and Gomorrah with the wickedness. This is your wicked punishment. And unless people take the time to study the Torah out or study any of these ancient texts out, they're going to miss that little key component, because I think this all ties hand in hand with the spiritual warfare,
Right.
because many people don't dig this deep into understanding some of this stuff to understand this is your enemy and then these are the keys to battle against that enemy, or to be prepared so that you're protecting your children from, you know, what's coming down the pike. And this, you know, you might want to make a footnote in your little notes there that Sirens is, it would, if you haven't yet, Sirens would be a good study on that because of the punishment. Like you said, it's not just going to be just the lake of fire. There's going to be other types of punishment depending upon the severity of the blaspheming, excuse me, that they had done to the Father. Because that would fall under blaspheme also.
Right.
Why is it? I mean, I'm just curious. I mean, we know the angels got punished. But you said a woman who seduces an angel. Why is it that it's not the angel seducing the woman?
That's just what
You know what I
Enoch
mean?
says here.
Well, and it came
but
down
it says
to
it says they saw the women and thought they were beautiful
Right.
and took wives. I mean, that kind of puts it on them on that part. So
No,
I don't know.
it's
I'm sure it
definitely
went
on both
both
parties.
ways.
Yeah, it
Yeah, I think it
definitely,
went both ways.
definitely. I mean,
Right.
they should have had the I don't know, however, the integrity, let's say, to clearly avoid that, right? Or better yet, go back to the Father and say, "Hey, what do we do about this? Or can we stay away from them or something?" Right? But
Yeah, I
yeah,
agree.
yeah. So this is
I mean,
it does say
yeah,
both, right? It says like they went after them and
right.
they took women, they took them as wives, and it says that these women also prettied up their face and seduced them basically, and that's why I'm
Well, yeah,
seeing
well, it says yeah, but it also says they taught them how to do that.
right.
They taught them how
Yeah, I
to
know,
do
right?
nothing. You know
Shot
what I mean?
himself in the
So,
foot, right?
yeah,
I
it's
know.
kind of
That's
because
a
it
mess.
starts, because when you stop and think about it, it starts with Eve. The serpent in the garden had basically, in a certain way, seduced her to go and, you know, look upon this fruit as pleasing. And then, you know, now he's basically enchanted her, or in the case of like Medusa, like what we were talking about earlier, you know, she's petrified. You know, she's like enticed in one way but fearful in the next. Well, for some people, especially in the movies that they're making nowadays, you know, they're using these sexual innuendos to make this enchantment, you know, like a spell come over you, so that you're being led astray, basically, because Proverbs is full of telling, you know, talking about the harlot woman and whatnot. And so, when I think about this whole in context with Enoch 19, saying that the women had led these angels astray, also, it brings me to the book of, Abraham and the story of Lot. You know, when Abraham had to go save Lot, and then when Lot was in Sodom and Gomorrah, right before, you know, they were being punished in Sodom and Gomorrah, these men are like, hey, we want to go have the flesh of angels. Because up until that point, I mean, even though most of us were wiped out in the flood, there was still something there. You know, the men still knew that the angel's flesh was way better than, you know, typical, you know, human flesh, I guess you would say. So that's why I was saying this could be a whole study in and of itself. Because the women probably wouldn't have been enticed if it hadn't have been for the fallen angels teaching the men and the daughters of men, you know, these sacred sciences that we were never supposed to know. That's why I was saying you might want to add the word enchantment to some of this, because I've been seeing the word enchantment pop up in a lot of Hebrew lexicon references for my word studies that I was doing. I hope I'm making sense, because all of a sudden I don't make sense to myself.
yeah, I do that too. Let's see here.
That's why it's hard for me to stay on the direct path of breaking down a sentence, is because of the word studies that I've done in the past, and then that leads to the rabbit trail, leading to another rabbit trail, and so
Right.
on and so forth.
No worries.
But in the end, it makes one big full circle as to look, if you walk in obedience, here is your blessings. If you decide to walk with stiff neckedness and being like, some of the Israelites were, then here is the punishment that comes with that. So you got your blessings and your curses all in Deuteronomy 28.
Just put all three on here because see how much is different.
That's why I could sit here for hours on end and pick apart certain verses.
Yeah, I kind of wonder about R.H. Charles translation sometimes. I know everybody says they're a fan of R.H. Charles, but I've seen a lot of weirdness and issues and stuff. Like even with this up here. I know he's pulling from multiple sources versus the other two supposedly are only pulling from the Greek, but I don't know. So like up here it says he was angry with them and bound them until the time when their guilt should be consummated, even for 10,000 years is what R.H. Charles says, but the R.H. or R. Richard Lawrence says, therefore he was offended with them and bound them until the period of consummation of their crimes in the secret year. So until judgment, right? I don't know where the 10,000 thing came from, but I don't know. Maybe it's something weird with the Greek, or who knows? Maybe it's a idiom of some kind, or who knows. But
Or he's listening to the wrong voice, like the Book of Homer.
I like Charles because sometimes in the footnotes he'll say, "I have no idea what this means."
right,
I kind of think that's funny.
yeah,
I
he's got good footnotes. I had to use a different site to get that because wherever I got this from had no footnotes, and I definitely need to get them on here. I don't know if the other two have any footnotes. That's part of the problem with me having no physical copies of stuff.
yeah.
Oh, hey, here's a question. How about E.W. Bullinger?
Who did what? Who's that?
Is he?
But the Witness
Um,
of the Stars guy,
yeah, that
yeah,
guy.
yeah. Everything I like
W.
him, but everything's about Jesus. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that in a bad way.
I see.
But I mean, like in Witness of the Stars, he makes everything in the sky, every constellation about Jesus. And I don't think they are all about Jesus, every one of them. They
Right.
have different characters and everything. And so it's like he could have just wrote one footnote, it's all about Jesus. Okay.
As a
You know,
clergyman, who is he exactly? Let's see, 1830 to 1913.
Now, if you want more information on this guy, you're going to have to ask Karen.
Okay.
I mean, I love what he did with the information he had, because he collected it from a woman who had went all over the world in Witness of the Stars and got the information from a lot of different cultures about what they believed the stars were and, what they meant and the names of them and all that. And it was all really similar. It really was. It's pretty amazing. And all she had was a stack of notes. She I think she passed away before she could really put it all together. And he took it and made it, made the book Witness of the Stars, which is it's really good. I mean, it's a good read, but
Yeah.
every character is Jesus just about. So it's like, dude, there's got to
he
be more
do
to
the
the
same
story than
thing?
that.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Did he
Oh
do
no,
the
no,
same thing with his numerology one too?
I didn't read that one. I believe, I do think there's a lot to numerology, but some of it can get really Gnostic and stuff, and so I kind of avoid the actual numerology. There's another word for it that I like better. I can't think of the word right now, but so I know the numbers do have a lot of meaning, and putting the number with the letter and all that. It there's a lot of stuff there, but I think people can get hung up on it. Like, well, they can do that with anything, I suppose.
Right. Poor Josh's boys are probably starving to death.
Yeah, I need to go
Feed
do 'em.
me.
Yeah, they keep bothering me. I have to go.
Well, do
feed
you
them
want
some.
to pick this up again here a little bit later, or you just want to wait for another day?
Yeah, another day. I'll be doing this Mondays and Fridays for right now, and any day really, but at least those days.
Okay. Yeah, because I think it'd be neat to get through all of James because there's just so much there, and I think it also goes hand in hand with some of the spiritual warfare stuff that on that I'm trying to do for some of the group of people that want to study that.
When I used to teach, Christian groups would ask me to teach, and I would always teach James because it hacks them off. They Christians really don't like the Book of James very much.
I could see why now. Yeah,
Yeah,
it saddens me that I have never delved into it before, but yeah.
yeah, it's interesting because he's very. You better work. You better do the stuff. You better
Right.
do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And Christians don't want to really hear that. They want to hear, name it and claim it stuff. So I mean,
Yeah.
I'm talking about when that was really big. They don't want to hear
It's a
the.
challenge. Yeah, it's a challenge.
Yeah.
I'm going to challenge you. Are you
Yep.
walking in obedience? Humility. That's
Right.
the main thing I think the Book of James is all about, is
No,
teaching
absolutely.
humility.
Seems like one of the biggest pills to swallow for a lot of people is just to be able to really humble themselves and really understand what that means. And it's not a good feeling a lot, right? It's supposed to be affliction. It's supposed to hurt. And that's how you learn, right?
Yeah. It does.
Um,
It does. But
and look,
you gotta just get used to it.
Right.
right,
Exactly.
and look
And you
at
do.
the tongue. The whole tongue thing, I think, is what trips everybody up. Like it was saying in the one verse, which right now my brain just shut off, but it's saying in the verse, you're praising the Father with your tongue, but at the same time, you're cursing and criticizing the fellow man who's made in the image of the Father. So where's the love? And especially in a lot of the religious groups that I've been a part of, it blows my hair back that how they treat each other. Well, if you don't believe like I do, you can't play in my sandbox. Well, what happened to the part where we're supposed to have our own walk with the Father, and we're each battling our own spiritual warfares, and we're just trying to learn from each other. Not everybody's going to agree. I mean, look at the members.
Have y'all noticed all the ministries now that go after other ministries? Like that's their ministry.
Oh, yeah.
To destroy other
yes.
ministries.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I've never seen anything like that. And then they'll tell you, they'll well, if you don't believe our bad doctrine, and if you
Right.
believe their bad doctrine and you don't believe our bad doctrine, I'm like, this is crazy.
And it goes right back to that spirit of hatred, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, the way I look at it, a lot of people discount the state of Israel as it is now, and I understand their points, but they end up literally like hating
Right.
the Jews, Judah. And I'm sorry, everybody, but that really is Judah. I know everybody wants to say they're, Khazarians or something stupid, but it is Judah. Judah never lost their identity. Israel did. Israel lost their identity. Judah did not. And this is the way I look at it. I love them. I know they're in blindness right now, and it says that they were blinded for our sake. But they're in blindness, so there's got to be some mercy there for them. And if I love them and they're my brother, I'm doing what Yah says. If I love
Right.
them and they're my enemy, I'm doing what Yah says.
Right.
So I'm gonna love
Yes.
them. I win. I mean, I'm sorry, but if I love them, I win either way. If you hate them, you lose either way. That's the way I look at it. Because you're either hating your enemy or you're hating your brother, and you're not supposed to do either one of those. So.
Well, and look at what Scripture says too about if you curse Israel, you're cursing yourself. You have to bring curses upon yourself. So whether it's the people in Israel or the land of Israel, either way, you got to be cautious with that.
Yeah.
That's why I was doing a tongue in the full study, because I grew up in a household where gossip was like no big deal, second nature, along with negativity. So when I started learning how to identify with something positive, like I would be given a compliment, I wouldn't know what to do with that. I was so used to
Right.
criticism. What do you do with compliment? So I had to retrain the brain. And my husband's been great about getting me to think outside the box and retrain my brain on this, just because of the influences I was surrounded by growing up. And it's one day something hit me. Oh, I was sitting in a group one day. I wasn't saying anything. I was sitting on a server and I was listening to these three people. They wasn't really bad mouthing per se another group. They were just saying, man, where do these people get off thinking that they own this server? They don't own this server. Somebody else owns this server, but they're coming in here and acting like they're the owners of the server. And it got me thinking about, criticizing people. Oh, you act like you're God, or oh, you're putting yourself on a pedestal, being puffed up. And I thought to myself, I'm a part of that group. Do I want to be associated with that? Because I'm in the leadership section of that group, and it hit me like really heavy. And I left like 17 servers, just because I was like, okay, it's time for me to take a step back, do a self check, humble myself, because there's a lot of like things that I was checking on a box. Do I want to be associated with somebody who's teaching a false doctrine? Granted, you can learn stuff, but on the other hand, those people on the outside looking in are the ones that are judging you according to your walk. And if they're judging you according to your walk, what are you portraying whenever they're saying, oh, you look like a hypocrite because you're doing this, or you look like a hypocrite because you're doing that? Now, I know that you can't please everybody, but it definitely made me stop and look within myself. Am I being puffed up? Am I being prideful? Am I doing what James is saying here to do? You know, am I allowing these negative emotions to overrule what the Father's telling us about love? And so, yeah, I could go on a huge tangent about that. So, anyways, make a long story short, so I started doing a tongue in the full study, because I've been big into like word studies, which is why poor Josh here can't get very far because something will stick out and then we'll start cross-referencing all these verses that go with it. But it comes down to, and I don't know if everybody believes this way in some of these groups, but for me personally, it comes down to equipping yourself on how to battle the enemy in these last days through spiritual warfare. And if somebody is spiritually blind, they're not going to have any kind of understanding about spiritual warfare. Because I've sat in some of these groups where they're throwing out all the writings of Paul. And I thought to
Yeah.
myself, if you're throwing out the writings of Paul, you're throwing out a key piece of equipment for spiritual warfare, and
And
that is
not
your
just that,
spiritual armor.
but the people I've noticed over time that reject Paul will end up rejecting the Messiah every time.
Exactly. It is so sad to see that happening.
Yeah, it is. And talking about criticism, I always think about the people in the wilderness. It says he didn't let any of them go into the promised land that murmured and complained. He didn't let any of those go, and they all died.
Yeah, and that's something else I've been trying to work on for myself. Do everything for the joy of Yahweh, not for, my own selfish pleasures or what can I get out of this or what am I worth? That was a big thing. Oh, I'm not worth anything because, felt like, how it is. You feel like you're working really hard, you're not achieving or gaining or, that personal gratification, self gratification thing instantly.
Yeah. It's tough when you work on something for years and you just can't even talk about it. It is tough, and you do start looking at yourself, thinking, "Am I crazy? What is wrong with me? Is something up? I'm different." You feel different. You feel alone, excluded, and stuff. But you can't give up. You got to be faithful. It's not to me. It's not about faith, like people talk about something going on between your ears, that kind of faith. It's about faithfulness. It's about being faithful, steadfast, and I think it's called emunah in Hebrew. You know, it's about being solid.
I think about the tent peg, being that tent peg, that solid tent peg, immovable. And there's another word that came with that too. I don't know. I just all of a sudden lost it.
All right, well, I'm gonna have to cut it right here. Hopefully, that was edifying for anyone watching. Um, hopefully, I can get through this James here sometime soon. But you see, I'm kind of taking my time on it and treating it with as much respect as I can, right? And to really, really dig down to not only word for word what it's saying, but the overall message of it. And then I'll end up writing a little summary for each chapter, sometimes maybe for each paragraph. And this way it'll be a little bit not only easier to read, but really easier to